Yo, what's up? It's your boy Philadelphia FREEWAY, and you're listening to On the Beat Early.
You are listening to On the Beat podcast. Connect with us at stayonthebeat.com.
Yeah, what's up? It's FREEWAY.
What's going on, Free? How you feeling, brother?
I'm good. How you?
I'm good. Thank you for calling us, man. I wanted to just thank you for coming on to our little podcast and answer some questions with us. So I appreciate it.
It's all good, bro.
Yeah, so let me just start off by saying I am Mighty Flipside. I am the host of On the Beat, stayonthebeat.com, and also the host for Night Market Philadelphia. And I wanted to officially welcome you on to the program. So before we get started, I wanted to say that this is the podcast and it's the Night Market episode. The Night Market is going down May 17th at Burholme. You get more information for the Night Market at thenightmarket.com. But before we start, I wanted to just let everyone know that today's guest, there is a history of hip-hop. And hip-hop starts off from the inception in the Bronx. And you got a lot of B-boys and B-girls in the 70s. Then it kind of made its turn to record it on records in the latter 70s, early 80s, and turned into Run DMC and Fat Boys. And there's a lot of different movements. The Golden Era, 86, and there was another Golden Era in 95. But there's all these sea changes. The person I'm talking to today was a part of a big difference, a big sea change in hip-hop. In a time where music changed, the industry changed, the look changed, the sound changed, and you did not necessarily have to be anybody but yourself. So we're talking to an artist who was part of that change, I would say, in and around the early 2000s and continuing on. Big shout out to the Philadelphia FREEWAY is on the list tonight. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, brother, man. It's an honor and a pleasure to be on the show with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I want to start off by asking a little bit about your history. So I don't necessarily know for sure. I'm getting some of my information from Wikipedia, so that's kind of true-ish. Where exactly in Philadelphia are you from?
I'm originally from West. Then I moved to North when I was like 12 or 13. So, I claim both of them.
Okay, West and North. So what was it? Tell me a little bit about what was it growing up in Philadelphia for you?
Well, the regular struggle. I had both of my parents, but, they wasn't doing too good. They was like, lower middle class or whatever. They tried their best to do what they could do for me, but, it was what it was. At a point in time, my two cousins, Raheem and Tyrone, came to West Philly and lived with us for a couple years. Then I went down north and lived with them for a couple years. And, that's when I really got into the streets and, started doing my thing as far as on the street level and all that. And that a lot of the things that I rapped about on my first album and all that stuff came from that part of my life,
So that talks a lot about your street influence, but can you tell me a little bit about your hip-hop influence, your history? How did you fall in love with hip-hop? What are some of the
I always loved hip-hop from the beginning. I'll take you all the way back to, poetry class. I used to always love putting words together and rhyming. I love artists coming up like Naughty by Nature. I love Tretch. He had a crazy flow. I love Dress from Black Sheep, another person with a crazy, crazy flow. Then as time passed, Biggie, Tupac. I love Gangstar. A lot of people, man, coming up. Das Effects. I like all different kinds of hip hop, man. I was coming up. LL Cool J.
Right.
I had the pleasure to work with LL on one of his albums, so that was a blessing.
You are listening to On the Beat podcast.
I'm influenced by a whole lot of different hip hop.
Right. So I want
and not to mention when I was coming up, there was a bunch of dope MCs around me, just from a lot of people that might not have made it, but just being in the mix and being around a bunch of dope creative MCs helped make me the artist that I am today.
That's something that I think a lot of people don't really get to see. I'm a Philadelphia native myself. So it's like, the narrative is like, oh, New York is the mecca of hip hop. You can't front. but there was a Philadelphia presence that was there. And it just means a lot to have another Philadelphia MC kind of come through the ranks and shine for us. So that's definitely dope. So as far as getting onto records, the first thing I could see that you were ever recorded on was 1-900 Hustler. Is that the first thing that you touched on, Wax?
Nah, I did a joint. The first thing I did was a joint called 1-2 with me and Beans for a DJ Clue mixtape.
Okay.
1-2, Sequel's coming for you.
Oh,
that's the first thing that I was doing. That was
after 19. Okay.
That was before 1-900 Hustler.
Oh, okay. I was getting my chronology kind of mixed up. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So how did you go from being on the street level into recording records? How did that transition happen?
I mean, I always was recording records and always was in the studio early. You know, I was a little ahead of my time with that. We always had. I was in a squad called Ice City. You know, and we was in the streets heavy. Our old heads were situated, so they used to always make sure we got studio time and all that.
Right.
And I used to always do my thing, but some of my old heads was cool with my old head was cool with Sadiq from Black Friday. Then I had bumped into Mac at dances. It was like a battle, and people was trying to battle him, like trying to double team me. So I jumped in the battle and helped him out. So we built a rapport from that, and then like it was just like everything came together. They took me up to rap for Jay. Jay loved it. The rest is history.
I remember club dances. I remember club dances.
Yeah.
What's up with? So I want to fast forward just a little bit because it's a very notable moment in your career, and this is a personal question for me. A lot of people talk about your career, the battle between Cassidy and yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I don't kind of understand, just reflect on that for a little bit, and I have a question about that. So tell me about how that went down.
Well, it was the same night that we did the Hot 97 freestyle when we went up there or whatever.
Okay.
So we was up there bombing out for a couple hours, and then we all went back to the studio. Then Jay came in the studio. I think he grabbed me, Chris, Beans, maybe somebody else, and he was like, "Come with us. Come with me." So we went with him, and then we went to another studio, and the Locks and Swiss and all them niggas was in there, and Cass was in there, and they was like, "Free, you gonna battle him?" And that's how it happened.
Okay, because the way that I remember in real time, I was like, Free was just spitting bars, and it seemed like Cassidy was on the battling tip, but I was like, I kind of respected Free, but I'm just gonna do what I do. I'm not going to change the lane. So I always appreciate that. I remember that going down in real time. So it wasn't necessarily...
Cass was definitely is a dope... He a dope artist, but he's a super dope battle rapper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's like his lane or whatever. And the fact that I just spit my whole arsenal up at Hot 97...
Right.
I was prepared for that. But as an artist, you're supposed to be prepared for everything. But,
right.
I didn't want to spit some of the same stuff that I just spit on the radio. So, but it's all good, man. It's definitely a good, memorable moment for hip-hop.
Absolutely. I remember the first time noticing you was when you did the 8 Miles on Run and got them 8 albums. I was like, okay, all right, here we go. I was like, this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Now I see what's happening. I'm like, yeah. I definitely, that was a moment I was like, okay, Freeway's definitely.
I remember I came to Stu. Jay was like, I got this joint I need you on for Eminem album. I was like, what? he put the beat on and was like, go in the studio. I went in that joint and started bombing out.
Yeah, you went in for sure.
You are listening to On the Beat podcast.
A little bit of the Rockefeller era. Before I do that, as far as Philly is concerned, what high school did you go to?
I went to West Philly for a little while, then I went to Kensington.
Okay, right.
And I moved down north. Yeah.
Okay, so making that transition to Rockefeller, were you always called Freeway? Was that always your name?
I had a bunch of rap names.
You gotta let us know. You gotta let us know.
My attribute is Basil, so I have Tommy Hill, Basil, Bazanova. Before that, my rap name was LES, because my real name Leslie was LES, laying everything smooth.
Right.
I had a bunch of, I rap since I was little, so I had a bunch of different rap names.
All right, cool. They didn't catch you out there like hoping, because a lot of early rap names are those were kind of official. Well, they were all kind of official. So you were saying originally that Ice City was your original group, but you ended up doing later on some stuff as Ice City. Is that correct?
Yeah. It was. We put out a project, and it wasn't the original members, but like Ice City is my hood, so we just like it was a couple of the young boys that was trying to rap and trying to get on. So I just tried to do a little situation, make sure everybody was situated.
Okay, so tell us how. I mean, it's kind of well documented what the Rockefeller movement meant, and that's what I meant when I said that the change in hip hop kind of happened. There was a changing of the guard there. There was a moment where y'all had hip hop for at least a couple summers, at least. But there was like a time where like the nucleus was kind of circled around what y'all was doing. Did you feel that? Did you see that?
Most definitely. I mean, definitely living in it. You know, it's so real, and it's in real time, and you feel like it's never going to end. You know, looking back at it, I'd be like, wow, that's crazy what we did. But being in the moment and just enjoying it, and you know, just trying to push and be the best that I could be.
How did that happen? Like, I don't know how that actually ramped up. How did that initiate?
I mean, starting with the Dynasty. Well, of course, Jay was already a great artist.
Yeah, obviously.
Then, you know, we bombed the Hot 97 thing. That brought some momentum behind State Property. Then we had the clothing line. We had the movies. The music was great. Like, it's just, everything just made sense, you know? So, like, the movement was more than just music. It was like culture. We had them wearing the clothes. Right. We had them watching the movies. Right. They wanted to be us, like, you know what I'm saying? Right.
So one of the things I really appreciate about you, Freeway, is I'm a hip hop aficionado. I'm a hip hop purist, and one of the things I appreciate about what you have done is that you have, you know, made your moves and changed in the industry, but you definitely have kept it hip hop. One of the things I really appreciate is the Jake One stimulus package that you did, Rhyme Sayers, and your work with Jake One. Just curious on what your take is, and I hope you know what I mean, because people get a little bent out of shape when I say the words real hip hop. But staying a little bit close to the underground, were you always close to the underground? How did you get involved with that kind of lane of hip hop earlier on? Or I didn't want to have a leading question.
I mean, I always, like, I feel as though Philadelphia, period, is a hip hop town. Like, even Beans and like Black Thought, like,
absolutely,
real MCs, like, you know what I'm saying? So when the Rockefeller breakup came, I just went back to doing what I do, and that's go hard. And on my second album, I had a couple joints with Jake One. The chemistry was crazy, and he kept sending me beats. So we had like 20, 30 records. I'm like, man, we might as well do a project together.
Yeah.
And he was working with Rhyme Sayers, and I was independent at the time. So we took it over there, and I got a lot of love and respect for them, you know. World tour. I did a world tour with Rhyme Sayers overseas, rocking crowds, 50,000, like, you know what I'm saying, on my own. So definitely was a blessing and a big part of my career, man. But you know, they opened me up to a whole lane that I didn't even know existed that loved me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's a beautiful thing. Absolutely.
We're talking to Philadelphia Freeway right now here on Stay on the Beat podcast. This is dedicated to the Night Market Philadelphia performance that's coming up May 17th. You can check out Philadelphia Freeway in Burholme at the Night Market. You can get more information at the Night Market or thefoodtrust.org. So just moving right along, I'm not going to hold you too long, bro, but I wanted to talk a little bit about your connection with Cash Money, the free money movement. How did that come about, or rather not come about? What was going on with the whole Cash Money, free money movement?
Well, once again, you know, I was independent, you know, was just exploring options. You know, me and Baby always had a good relationship, and he was actually on the project that I did, the stimulus package with Rhyme Sayers, you know what I'm saying? So,
right.
You know, we entertained me coming over there, And it was an option. I probably could have made it happen, but the dots just never connected. You know what I'm saying? But we still got a great relationship. You know, Wayne is on the new album. I got a lot of love for them brothers over there. You know.
Right on. So you had Diamond in the Rough and Static Free, and I saw that you had some. What I thought was real interesting, the work that you did with Girl Talk.
Yeah.
How did that? How did you meet him? How did that come about?
My manager at the time, good friend and good brother of mine, Amir, he put that play together for me. Like I never even heard of Girl Talk before, but he started like, I'm saying this would be a good move for you. Then he started sending me the music, and the music was incredible, like the production. It like pushed me somewhere else to do different things. So it was, it was a great experience. Me and Girl Talk got a couple new records, not on this album, but we've been working on some new material. And me and Jake one as well, so you're definitely going to hear some more stuff from us soon.
I will say personally, I love Jake one, but the stuff that y'all did together was definitely, I think it was some of your best. It was your best stride. I'm like, this is what I want to hear Freeway over. Like, this is why. Yeah. This is the move right here.
Yeah, I remember Beans called me like, yeah. When he got out of jail and he heard the Jake one stuff, he was like, yeah, that's where you need to be at
right. It felt so right. So you worked with a lot of legendary producers. You worked with a lot of legendary people in the game. You've worked with a very famous person who's in the news right now, Kanye West. And I want to know if you could tell me just a little bit about working with Kanye and how that was.
It was always good working with Ye, man. He's a good dude, man. Real eager and, passionate about his work. And, I saw it early on. He asked me to be a part of his album, and I was like, most definitely, and it's a blessing. The 2 Words record with me, him, and Most Def.
Right.
And we got to perform it on a legendary show, Dave Chappelle. So, that was a blessing, too.
Mm-hmm. Any comments about his current state in the news or your reflection on what he's doing right now?
All I know is he's a genius, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, whatever he's doing, he know what he's doing. So I'm going to just leave it at that. Like, people think he's going crazy and all that. I don't buy it.
Right on. So, again, we're real excited to have you come out May 17th, this Thursday, at Night Market, Philadelphia. Can you tell us about what's going on right now? You got any current records? What can we look out for?
Yeah, I just, I got a new album dropping. It's called Think Free. It's dropping June 22nd. I'm back with Rockefeller. I'm back on Rock Nation. You know what I'm saying? So this is my first project back with The Rock, and I'm excited about it. Got some great features on there. Jadakiss, Lil Wayne, Lil Uzi Vert, Faith Evans, Tory Lanez. The album is incredible, man, and I just look forward to letting the people hear it. We just dropped the first single on the 27th of last month. It's called All the Way Live. We're getting a great response from it. Right. Just shot the video, getting ready to drop the video probably sometime next week. So it's just grinding, man.
And may I say, and I apologize if it's come a little bit forward, but I've always noticed, I've been in the hip-hop game for a while. I watched hip-hop, especially in Philadelphia. Some of the rappers in the game, they come in the game and they get a little kind of like sluggish and slow looking, but you always stayed healthy looking. You always stay consistent. Is health a big part of what you do?
Yeah, most definitely. I don't know if you know or not, but I was diagnosed with kidney failure in 2015. So
I'm sorry, diagnosed with what? I'm sorry.
Kidney failure in 2015.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I that's one of the things that I've been dealing with. So health is definitely very important to me, and I definitely had to switch up a lot of things, change my diet up and everything. And, I feel good.
That's what's good. So it's interesting that you're working with the Food Trust, because the Food Trust mission is to ensure that everyone has access to affordable, nutritious food and information to make healthy decisions, and working with neighborhoods, schools, grocers, farmers, and policymakers.
Now you see the connection.
Exactly. And develop a comprehensive approach to improve food access that combines nutrition education, greater availability and affordability, and healthy food. So it makes a lot of sense that you're there. And we're really excited, man. I've been doing the Night Market for a while. We're really excited to see you. And, we really appreciate you, man.
Man, thanks for having me, man. I look forward to it.
So any last words before we check out?
Yeah, that album, Think Free, June 22nd. My first album, All the Way Live. My first single, All the Way Live, is available on all streaming platforms. You can get it everywhere. Tidal, Apple Music, Spotify. Check it out, man. Show your boy some love, man.
All right, we're here with the legendary Philadelphia Freeway here on the Beat, brother. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, no problem. You have a good night. Yeah, y'all, what's up? It's your boy, Philadelphia Freeway, reminding you to always stay true, always stay in tune, and always stay on the beat. Early.